Hey everybody, call me Felix, and we're in Laoag City, the provincial capital of Ilocos Norte, way up north in the Philippines. On today's show, we'll be dining in one of Laoag's best-known haunts for traditional Ilocano food, La Preciosa. Housed in what used to be a quaint heritage two-story residence, replete with a cool-looking spiral staircase for accessing the second-floor dining terrace, La Preciosa has been serving up down-home Ilocano specialties and Filipino dishes since 1994. So you can get your poki-poki, dinardaraan, or crispy dinuguan, pork tinono, etc. with other Filipino mainstays such as crispy pata and sinigang, as we did here. La Preciosa is also known for its luscious cakes and pastries from its adjoining bakery and is particularly famous for its carrot cake. But first, we help ourselves to a bottle of Basi before our lunch. Given that we are situated in my father's nearby hometown of Piddig, whose national claim to fame is the Basi Revolt against the Spaniards in September of 1807, we had to try Basi, a traditional sugarcane alcoholic beverage. Local demand for Basi has waned as 1. It's cheaper to drink liquor for sharing, and 2. Basi is fermented into sukang Iloco, or Ilocano vinegar. These days, a few vintners have incorporated Basi as its base, no pun intended, as a mix with red wine varietals. In a past life, I was a craft beer, liquor, and wine aficionado, but I've never tried Basi before, and I go into greater detail about it in my review. Take it away, Maestro. Well, first time ever trying Basi, right here, La Preciosa, so it's a little historic for me, and that's a cheers. Let's see. It's very vinous, for sure, because there are some red wine adjuncts, as it were. It almost... It has like a little sour edge at the end. So, it's almost like, almost a little vinegary at the end. But it's very slight, but I mean, not in an unpleasant way. It tastes just like, it tastes like a Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon that has been blended. That's what it tastes like to me, because it's big on the plum notes. So just to affirm what I've been thinking. I know, hold on. It's light fermented sugar wine with grapes, java plum, bark, and seeds. So I think the sourness really comes from the plum. Because when it's fermented, it has a little more sour edge. Deep grape color, yes, and very. Yeah, it's got some seeds. So they put some. So, when I thought that this is fermented sugar wine, I always had this sort of image that it is closer to moonshine. It just tastes like a really silky smooth Merlot, and kind of finishes a little salty because of the Cabernet sort of influence. And Dad is just downed his; he didn't care about tasting it. Yeah, it really tastes like a blend between Merlot, Pinot Noir, and Cabernet Sauvignon. It has a slightly salty, peppery edge at the end, a little vinegary. You can tell that there are some fermented plums in there because there's a sour edge. It tastes like what am I looking for? Like a red lambic beer. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah, it goes down easy. There's no alcohol burn at all, or alcohol flavor. It's very smooth, and then there's a sour, refreshing note that prevails at the end. Kind of cleans your palate. So this is definitely light wine. And it's not really a deep red color, I would say. It's kind of, because... Of course, there's some other wines that are more like dark, very dark purple, almost pitch black. This is more of Yes, I know it is like wine. So, Basi isn't typically consumed as it used to be in the old days. So they tried to make it like a cross between red wine and Basi. So once we get to the real Basi, Dad, it won't really take on this sort of form as far as a blended red wine. Because Isn't it the wine is more like, or Basi is more like white or brown in color, or what? That's where I'm totally ignorant. Yeah.
I think it's the same. I forgot already, but darker.
You mean more pitch black than this, like molasses?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's more up my alley. You see, almost like kind of like more of a liquor kind of thing going for it than wine, right? Oh, okay.
Try it again.
Yeah, you do get a little bit of bark at the end on that gulp. Has a woody sort of taste or woody sort of hit, and then it goes away smooth. So that's the first glass of Basi I've ever had. Okay, food has arrived. I don't remember what that is, but I just got distracted. Oh, this is instead of basab. Okay. And then this is the crispy pata with looks like potato chips on top, but I think those are prawn crackers or rice crackers. Fish and shrimp sinigang, and there's our dunuguan, which I think is not the bagbagis or the intestines. Those are just regular pork belly. We got some pokey. Dad always orders crispy pata wherever we go, so it's his favorite dish. I think I'm gonna take this one first. Okay. Nice, really thick, crispy skin. I like the layering on that. And there's some relatively lean meat there. Not super fatty, so I think this should... Oh, look at that. There's a lot of fat on this side with the skin. Well, let's take this part here. What a pretty solid crispy pata. It's nice and fried. Skin's not greasy at all. Good proportion of fat to skin to meat. Oh yeah, that does satisfy. So I think next up I'm gonna try some of this. What's known as crispy bagbagis or crispy pork intestines. Those can get really addicting real quick because they're pretty light and there's no funk at all. Correction, there's a little bit, but you want it a little bit just to remind you you're eating an intestine. But nicely crisp. Texture is crispy all the way through. It makes really good bar snack or pulutan, I feel like. Then I tried this. This is insarab basab. Insarab basab, but then people like there's an A in between, and like I get confused, so I just call it insarab basab. All right. So this is a kind of pork tinono, I believe. But the difference is, Dad says this is fast cooking, so you put it on the grill for only a few minutes. And hence why it has the name in Ilocano, Insarab Sab. Now, don't fact check me on this because Dad, homegrown Ilocano knows, so I'm gonna trust his word there. So Insarab Sab. So I expect this to be like pork tinono. Insarab. Wow. So it's like saying kalabasa, but okay. Insarab. All right, let me try it. And so the pork dish, to me, that has a tongue-twisting name that I'll just call tinono just because really does taste like tinono. Especially like it tastes like the charred. There's a wonderful charred grill flavor to that. A little bit of smokiness too on that pork. It's a little more lean, but you want that to have a little more chew so you can release more of those, that seasoning, that soy sauce-based seasoning. And the next thing I'm going to try is the crispy dinardaraan. The pokey came out. Now, unfortunately, I can never say pokey with a straight face. It's just one of those things that just sounds funny, and it probably is funny, because it sounds dirty. But this is basically an eggplant salad, where the eggplant is kind of, as you can see, a bit wilted. It looks like it's got some an eggy texture, like scrambled eggs texture, or scrambled eggs look. So I've kind of left my crispy dinardaraan left to roost there. And try some pokey. Yeah, I can't say it. It's really like scrambled runny eggs with eggplant and some tomato and onion. This really tastes like breakfast. I say breakfast in a good way and not necessarily in like the overly simple way. But yeah, here's the crispy dinardaraan. So this is a little different from dinuguan because this is the crispier. Yeah, of course you have to eat some with some rice. And just like with dinuguan, it tastes rich because of the blood sauce. So it has a little more of a sour note. The pork is not as crispy as I would have thought. Might have been because I've gotten one that was a little more not as well fried, but all right. There's a little bit of crispiness there, but I only got like a fried lean piece. But the flavors are spot on. For dinardaraan, especially for what it advertises, I would have want more of a satisfying crunch where it just goes with like a satisfying crackling. And it's not really as a satisfying crackling. The only thing I haven't tried is the sinigang, I think. Yeah. The only thing I haven't tried is sinigang. So we got fish and shrimp here. We gotta try the soup first. See if the sourness is like as we desire here. Just the right amount of sour tamarind there. Not overly sour. Nice big piece of fish. Let's try our fish out first. Good sign. It went through with the spoon quite easily. Yep. Yeah. That's flaky. What kind of fish is this? I think it's like a talakitok. I think it is. Or like swordfish. Talakitok. See, I can say that fine. Talakitok. Right. So that's the fish here. I think for me it's like a kind of swordfish, but flaky. But it's flaky. The density is good. There's enough tenderness to make chewing easy and releasing more of the sour flavor from the soup. Now, if I'm going to be really comprehensive about it, I have to try the shrimp.
Doing iced tea.
Especially that head butter. Fortunately, not as much head butter as I would like. Or it is unctuous, but I guess it went into the soup itself. Let's try out that soup instead again. It's a little less sour. There's just a good sour note, not unpleasant at all. Very pleasant. And then the vegetables have soaked into the broth really well, so they lend a more vegetal quality, especially the kangkong or water spinach in there. Alright, I've peeled my shrimp. We'll try that out. The shrimp is nicely firm. I wouldn't say it's super sweet, so I think I would hold in mind the freshness a little bit. As far as good, I think these are smaller shrimp. They kind of cooked a little more easily. So, personally, if I were you, I would stick to the fish sinigang. But I think everything here is solid. What's the standout dish here? Let me try some of that dinardaraan again. Let's see how crispy it is. Because I think I was a little let down getting a lean piece. So I'm going to retry this. Yep, there you go. Got a fattier piece on that. But being a perfectionist, I think you can get crispier than that. Here's a little bit. Let's try the bagbagis again. I like this. They're pretty addicting. Crispy all the way through. Very little in the notes of pork funk or irony. The perfect bar snack, really. So I think I like the crispy pata and the bagbag is the best. I also like this interrupt sub. Okay. Let's say I'm gonna call it Tinono Light, okay? Tinono Light for me. This is well flavored too, I think. Unfortunately, I've been spoiled by Mama Ping, so by my standard or her standard, this is good. It's passing. Could be better. I think that's a fair reflection of the food. Pretty good. Nothing really stands out as excellent, but it's really some good food here. I already said the Pokey kind of tastes like scrambled eggs with eggplant. Very good mouthfeel. I think this is like the best version I've had, believe it or not. So on reflection, I would get Pokey, I would get this bagbagis, and I would get some crispy pata. Now, we have to save room for dessert because this is what they really specialize in something I don't really like. And that thing I don't really like is carrot cake. And I haven't had it in so I haven't had Basi ever. This is my first time. So now we're making history again. Me eating carrot cake for the first time in I don't want to tell you how old I am, but let's just say a couple decades. All right, back in a bit. Well, I was showing you the carnage, but we did order some bagbagis again because we really like that, or at least I really like it. But yeah, portion sizes are pretty reasonable, I think too. They're not like some other places where they have a ton and then you have a lot of leftovers. This is reasonable as far as getting fresh food and eating it there. Right? It's more of the bagbagis. I'm waiting on dessert, and we're having this as an in-between snack. I still have a little bit of rice here. And a little bit of the pokey hidden there. So they're very famous for carrot cake. And they only sell them to take out and take as rounds. So I think I'll just buy some carrot cake and then review that at the house. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to help myself to a couple slices of cake after this. Like a bit. I think I found the perfect answer as to why the portions here at La Preciosa are a little on the small side for this American. It's because they want you to have room for desserts. So, this is what they call a sans rival cake. Or sans rival, or sans rival cake. But despite the French name, it's a Filipino cake. And this is, I think, the same cake, but with the Ferrero Rocher thing going for it. What to try first? I always save chocolate for the end. That's just what I do. So I'm going to try the Sans Rival cake. So I think this is meant to be an ethereal... I don't know too much about it, but it's basically like a whipped up butter foam cake thing. But it looks like all kind of whipped up mousse. So this is supposed to be light and ethereal. We'll try that out. And then you have some chopped up walnuts here. And in between bites, in the middle, you get them between the icing and lots of icing. The more substance of the cake, which is this cream filling underneath. There's enough substance in this cake to make it not feel like you're eating straight up mousse cake. So you can see decent layers of cake here. Lots of generous amount of nuts. And the icing. Plenty of icing on top. Very, very fancy, I should say. And Dad wants a piece of that cake. Oh, no. I'll give you this one, Dad, because this one's a little lighter. Lighter, and then it's mocha flavored, but just very gentle hints of mocha. Let's just take off our Ferrero Rocher thing off top. White icing. I think this is a similar Sans Rival cake. As you can see, lots of meringue here. With this cross section here. Yeah, Dad, you already have old age diabetes, so I mean it's no big deal for you, huh? Okay. Before that, I was distracted. You see a lot of meringue here. And then there's a nice thin layer of the actual cake here. And so far, like I was saying with that Basi Revolt cake, very ethereal. And it's not too sweet. Now let's give this a try. I love decadent chocolate myself. I want to see how rich this is. It's like a Ferrero Rocher, but a little lighter. Just imagine German chocolate cake. As if it's got a little bit of a toasted coconut thing going for it. That's how light the chocolate is. So if you don't like super sweet, this is your type of cake. So with the Basi Revolt cake. Personally, I love bombastic sweetness. Kind of like that one night I was at the Shangri-La buffet. Too good. But this is very good as far as like the texture goes, and then it's not super sweet if you're not into that. So the thing to mention here, La Preciosa is a bakery and restaurant. So there are some cakes you can get for takeout. They're a famous carrot cake. They only sell them in rounds, so you can only take them out, and they cannot have a slice for your meal. I mean, it just so happens right now, but typically you can eat for your meal, but they have slices available. So we're gonna buy one for takeout for sure and review that. Yeah, they have all kinds of specialty cakes. What really grabs me, of course, is they have cheesecake, but that's actually my ultimate weakness. But they didn't have them available in slices. If you're wondering, that second batch of Bug Buggies is gone too. Yeah. It just tastes like German chocolate cake mixed like a Ferrero Rocher, or it's like Almond Joy back in the States. There we go. Almond Joy German chocolate cake, except it feels pretty light. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't in the mood to buy carrot cake for takeout. My disdain for carrot cake wound up winning out against any hopes of conversion from La Preciosa's take on carrot cake. Perhaps that's a subject for another episode on La Preciosa, and the restaurant truly deserves a second review, as their menu is massive. We didn't get to try the pinakbet with bagnet, or crispy fried pork, for example. The dishes we had at La Preciosa were delicious, and in hindsight I was being quite nitpicky when I said there wasn't a standout dish, and that the fare was merely above average. One thing's for certain, if you visit Ilocos Norte, La Preciosa should be on your list of required restaurants, especially for a true taste of Ilocandia. Make sure to save some room for dessert, as their cakes are quite lovely and light. Plus, the ambiance evokes a warm, homely, nostalgic feel. That does it for this review of La Preciosa. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you've eaten here before, let me know in the comments what you think. And for more food videos like this, as well as some travel ones and everything else in between and out there, please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of those videos. Until next time, take care, and remember, the empire never ended.